6 p.m. in Douala, viewers, we thank you so much for being with us on this edition of the news. You're all welcome. Our major stories right away. Few days to the National Day celebration in Cameroon that will be on Saturday, May 20. The National Armed Forces of the country have opened their doors to the local population or to the public in Douala. The army, the national gendarmerie and the police explain their missions and also how they operate. Plus, telecommunications experts in Cameroon say the problem of internet connection and internet cost might soon be a thing of the past soonest. Viewers, those are our major stories. Stay with us for details and more in just a moment. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you again for joining us. We just told you a while ago in the headlines that the National Armed Forces of the country, Cameroon, has opened its doors to the public in Douala today. The army, the national gendarmerie, the police, the army rescue unit, and other forces are explaining to the public their missions and how they operate and the equipment they use. Babila Jonathan was there. He now makes a zoom or takes a zoom in on the national gendarmerie. Let's watch his report.
Right now, I feel like David when he was dressed with the armors of the king to go and fight Goliath. You know, these things are quite heavy. All what you're seeing on me right now are called personal protective equipment used by gendarme officers, particularly in the case of riots. During riots, these equipments are used for the protection of the gendarme officer from his head right down to his toe. He is completely protected, as you can see. Even his face can be protected with the glass that you're seeing right up there. Once it is brought down, his face is protected. And then on my left hand here, you have the shield that he uses to protect himself from all kinds of adversities, including stones, you know, sticks and other light weapons that could be thrown at him during a riot. And just in front of me here is an anti-riot car, and this anti-riot car is used by the gendarme officers during the riot situations. It is generally referred to in Cameroon as Mami water, and this is because it is used to spray water on protesters in a bid to disperse them. And right, you can see here this vehicle that is highly protected and is used by officers during riots. And now when you look towards the other side, you have the armored car. This is an armored car that is here and is also used by gendarme officers, particularly during high insecurity situations like during the fight against terrorism and high crime, and it is used in areas where there is the risk of improvised explosive devices. That's the use of this armored car that you're seeing here, and it is used also for the protection of high authorities who visit risk zones, high insecurity zones, like crisis zones like the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. And in front of me here, you have a mobile command post, and this command post is used by the hierarchy of the national gendarmerie, and it is equipped with facilities to enable it collect information from the ground and also send out information. This mobile command post here has an audiovisual system that can be used to get images from within a certain circle and also images from all the security cameras across the national territory. And this mobile command post is used by the hierarchy of the national gendarmerie to be able to give command to soldiers on the ground. This is what this mobile command post is used for by the national gendarmerie. And of course, on the other side, you can see a lot of weapons that are there that are used during the fight against terrorism and high crime by the national gendarmerie. Reporting from Bonanjo in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, at the open door days of the National Armed Forces of the Republic of Cameroon, we are Innocent Abega and Babla Jonathan.
Babila Jonathan, they're presenting some of the cars which are usually used by armed forces in the country to protect civilians or the local population. Thank you for that report. Now, what are the missions of the National Gendarmerie? A reporter put this question to Colonel Pierre-Aimé Bikele, Littoral Gendarmerie Region Commander, and he also talked to a civilian who came to the Bonanjo event to know more about the National Armed Forces. Let's now listen to them.
We're going to get to know more about the missions of the National Gendarmerie from a high-ranking officer of the National Gendarmerie. He is Colonel Pierre-Aimé Bikele, commander of the Littoral Gendarmerie Légion. Colonel, welcome.
Thank you.
What are the missions of the National Gendarmerie?
Yes, I was saying that the missions of the National Gendarmerie are known. Everybody knows that Gendarmerie is there to the protection of persons and goods. So we have, as you saw in this stand, some of 5, let's say, operational functions. First of all, we have to fight against criminality and terrorism. Is one of the missions of Gendarmerie. Secondly, you have the territorial gendarmerie, which is basically brigades and companies, judicial police, administrative police, military police is our missions. You have mobile gendarmerie with the mission of protection of sensitive areas and the crowd control, as we can say, maintain of order. Next, we had the security, the route security. So Gendarmerie is there to prevent accident, but also to punish some of the travelers who are not observing rules of circulation.
What are some of the challenges of a gendarme officer, especially in things like what we have in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, the guerrilla warfare situation, like what we have even in the far north? What are some of the challenges, even in normal situations like here in Douala and so on?
The great and the big challenge for us is to have information, intelligence. We need to be informed before in order to take advantage on those bandits. So if Gendarmerie can have on time intelligence, information, we can be more efficient in our actions, I think.
That was Colonel Pierre-Aimé Bikele. He's the commander of the Littoral Gendarmerie Légion, explaining to us that the missions of the National Gendarmerie. Let's talk to a visitor who has come to discover not only the National Gendarmerie, but the National Armed Forces here in Bonanjo, in Douala, during the open door days of the National Armed Forces. Hello, madam.
Bonsoir, monsieur.
All right. What's your name?
Moi, c'est Madame Kayo Marie, alias Maman Lion, la mère des lions indomptables du Cameroun. Donc, je suis là aujourd'hui beaucoup apprécié déjà la foi de l'unité, que c'est cette foi qui prouve que nous vivons vraiment ensemble, qu'il y a la sécurité dans notre pays, que nos armées vraiment nous protègent et mènent des efforts nuit et jour pour la protection de notre pays.
How do you feel? How do you feel putting on the military equipments?
Vraiment, je suis très fier de porter cette vêtement militaire parce que j'ai aimé le corps, mais je ne peux pas tout faire à la fois, mais j'apprécie déjà ce qu'ils font, je les encourage, je les supporte.
About the Cameroonian armed forces, then you have to go visit the stands in Bonanjo here in Douala. Thank you once again, Babila Jonathan. Now we talk something else. Viewers, officials in the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications say the problems of poor internet connection provided by private telecom companies in Cameroon will soon be a thing of the past. They say the minister had given precise directives for these companies to comply or exit. The assurances were made in Douala during activities marking the 158th International Telecommunications and Information Society Day. For me, Armstrong Sander is a man on that beat.
The huge benefits of digital connectivity within the fourth industrial revolution cannot be overemphasized. Unfortunately, over 13% of the world's population lack access to digital connectivity, according to the International Telecommunications Union. This number is scattered among some 46 countries categorized as least developed countries in terms of digital connectivity, 33 of them being within the African continent. Even though Cameroon falls beyond this category, effective connectivity and cost remains a veritable challenge to startups and digital entrepreneurs.
We have some area that the connection is very fast, and another area connection is very low. In Douala, I can take some example. In Makepe, in Koto, for example, the pace is not very high. Or when I work in Aqua, Deido, Bonapriso, the pace is very high. I work easily.
Besides this problem is the limited and almost zero internet connection in rural Cameroon. Faced with this reality and the call from the International Telecommunications Union to work towards a universal connectivity, the government of Cameroon is counting on startups.
Today we think that our startups can give a better answer with ICT to the main problem of connectivity that we have and main problem of digital solutions that we have. So that was the purpose of our discussion today, to let people know that okay, we are facing some main problems, and we said that it's a teamwork. The government have to be there, the customer has to be a part of it, and also those startups, also those solution providers.
Meeting in Douala within the context of the 158th World Telecommunications and Information Society Day, officials from the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications reiterated that the problem of poor internet services provided by private companies in Cameroon will soon be history. They say that the minister has given firm and precise instructions and deadlines for the companies to comply or exit Cameroon.
And now in health, today has been observed the world over as the World Day Against Hypertension. Experts are raising concerns about the rise in cases of hypertension in Cameroon, with a prevalence rate of 28%. Cardiologists say poor lifestyle and late diagnosis account for the rise. During a symposium organized by the Douala General Hospital, cardiologists discussed on how to limit health complications that may occur due to this condition. Immaculate Fogwe has the details.
Out of the 150 persons screened for hypertension within 2 days at the Douala General Hospital, 40 persons have been declared hypertensive, a situation which is worrying cardiologists in the city of Douala.
High blood pressure is a condition which can evolve without any symptoms, and the problem with high blood pressure, we call it a silent killer. After many years of evolution, it can lead to serious complications generally, which are chronic complications, which are very difficult to take care of. And to avoid all this situation, it's very important to take the blood pressure generally after 35-40 years of old for everyone, at least once a year.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure can lead to complications including heart attack or stroke. Cardiologists say early diagnosis can go a long way to avoid severe complications.
Hypertension generally doesn't have a single cause. It's a mixture of many factors. The first factor we can say it's heredity. Generally, people become hypertensive when there are other relatives in the family who have hypertension, and there's also lifestyle. If you have a sedentary lifestyle, if we don't eat well, if we have obesity, all these factors combined together can lead to hypertension.
The few patients diagnosed with hypertension have promised to respect the doctor's instructions for their well-being. My pressure is really high, so as from now I will regulate my salt and sugar intake. I am happy I came for the screening.
We have to do physical activity regularly. We have to reduce our weight to not be obese, and we have also to eat well, equilibrated, to avoid excess of fat in our food, avoid smoking. This is the basis of the treatment of hypertension. And with all these lifestyle modifications, we can also add medication to better manage high blood.
Commemorating World Hypertension Day, cardiologists during a symposium organized by the Douala General Hospital brainstormed on new treatment options that can go a long way to address the problem of high rates of hypertension in Cameroon.
Still in health, the Ministry of Public Health says the number of people infected by measles in Cameroon keeps increasing, with 100 health districts already infected or affected and 18 deaths recorded. Speaking to a medical practitioner in Douala, Dr. Anye Glory Befeke, she highlighted some reasons why the cases of measles are on the rise in Cameroon and the dangers of raising unvaccinated children or the importance of vaccinating kids. Let's now have more with Innocent Aze.
According to recent statistics published by the Ministry of Public Health, of the 200 health districts in Cameroon, 100 are in measles epidemics with 4,677 cases and 18 deaths. Thus, a cause for concern. In a press release published recently, the ministry points at insufficient vaccination coverage for several years and the growing number of unvaccinated children. This is confirmed by Dr. Anye Glory Befeke at the St. John's Memorial Clinic.
The rates are increasing in the country. The age group that is mostly affected are children under 5 years. So most mothers are not aware. In a few cases, we find mothers who come to hospital for the 9 months vaccine, but sometimes those vaccines are not available in some areas. So we find more and more children over 9 months, over 2 years, who don't get the vaccine. So the disease will persist in the society. There are lots and lots of myths around the vaccination program. Some parents will tell you, oh, I will not vaccinate my child because it may render sterile. So it's about education.
Raising unvaccinated children poses a great danger to the society.
Because through them, the disease gets easily spread from its mode of contamination. It's through the cough, the sneezing, and the contact.
And life of the child, since the highly contagious airborne disease from respiratory droplets is incurable.
There is no treatment for measles, but there is treatment for the symptoms like the cough, like the high fever, like the reddish eyes. There are complications that may occur which may lead to death. There is what we call the group. Group is a disease that affects the respiratory system and it hinders breathing. Sometimes when such complications arise or manifest, there you find many children losing their lives.
Measles, which is becoming viral in health districts, can be halted quickly enough.
Those campaigns should be organized more on a regular basis because we have missed children, many children who would have had this vaccine before 2 years, because this vaccine is given in 2 doses from 9 months and equally 6 months after, 1 year, 3 months, that's 15 months. So some of these children that have missed receiving this vaccine can get it like a catch-up. We call it to attraper in French. The Ministry of Public Health equally should make the treatment or drugs for these signs and symptoms in order to prevent death from occurring.
In the meantime, the Ministry of Public Health has announced a national vaccination campaign against the measles and rubella epidemics starting from June 28 to July 2nd, 2023.
In other news, fighting against migrant injustice is preoccupying to civil society activists and researchers across Africa. Following several cases of violence meted on migrants, participants coming from different parts of the continent are brainstorming on how to tackle this phenomenon or growing phenomenon or ill. Immaculate Fogwe is our lady on that beat.
Images of Cameroonians alongside other African nationals being maltreated in Tunisia went viral on social media. Apart from Tunisia, many Cameroonians living in Equatorial Guinea were arrested, with others chased by Guinean authorities. Such acts of violence and barbarism meted on fellow Africans has caused many to question the united African dream. Xenophobic attacks have become recurrent in African countries. Before, Africa used to be regarded as one and indivisible, but that's not the case now. We have lost our values. Violence is now gaining ground. We see a migrant as an enemy. We need to change that mindset. The continuous maltreatment is preoccupying these researchers and civil society activists grouped together by the Kale University of Central Africa. They are seeking better ways on how to address the growing phenomenon of migrant injustice. In North Africa, a lot of blacks are being maltreated on a daily basis. We plan coming up with strategies that will change the mindset of some Africans who inflict pain on others who are not from their country. Transforming the mindset of Africans by providing transformative understanding on why unity is important would definitely lead to the better implementation of living together in peace and harmony.
And now we take you to the southwest region in Tico to talk about this sad incident of a fight which led to the death of a footballer in Tico. Thus, the Tico United Football Club in a recent release recounts the circumstances leading which led to the death of a former footballer, Zenge, in Tico in the southwest region. The release says the former player died after a brawl with a certain Alain Georges, defender of Tico United FC, and to these the neighbors of the deceased in the report which comes up next tells us what actually happened. Lucy Liengu Esie completes the story.
Family members and friends of Zenge, former player of Tico United Football Club, are still in shock after the death of their son. According to a release published by Tico United Football Club, Zenge was involved in a scuffle in the early hours of Monday, 15th of May, 2023 with Alain Georges, a defender of same club. Unfortunately, the scuffle accidentally resulted to serious injuries and subsequent death of Zenge.
The boy was seriously bleeding because he was having wounds in his chest, under the stomach here, under the navel, and beside the stomach. So the boy was seriously injured and he was bleeding too much. That is what I saw. From there, one boy, we called him Dangote, came and take the boy that was injured and put on the Okada and carry him along.
After the fight, Zenge is said to have been abandoned until the arrival of his neighbor.
When they called me that they have stabbed my neighbor, so I came here to see what is going on. So when I come, I meet the population outside standing. Nobody is there to rescue him. So I climbed to the building to rescue him.
His neighbor equally recounts how he was taken to the hospital for medical attention.
When I went to the hospital, the doctor told me that I will buy 6 pair of clothes. So I move money and I buy the clothes. So when they say that I should find the money to an ambulance, I say no problem. Let me go to my house to receive money. They say no. he has a family. I say yes, I should call his family members to come. So when I call his family members to come, they come.
The Tico United FC club in the release condemned all acts of physical violence that may have resulted to the untimely death of Zenge, while extending its deepest apologies and condolences to the family of the bereaved. The Tico United FC club reassures its fans and population that investigations have been launched.
And back to Douala, at least 5 persons have been arrested and detained following a scuffle between a supposed council agents and traders in Dabo, in Bonaberi to be more precise. The angry locals accused the individuals of lack of conformity, extortion and impersonation of council workers. This followed a violent scene which was captured by some locals. For me, Armstrong Sander has the details.
The violent scene was captured in Dobo, in Bonaberi, in the Douala 5 subdivision. Lucas say it all started with this wheel clamp bearing the Douala City Council. Resisting, the Lucas accused the bearers of faking council agent and abuse. They say the agents lacked identification gadgets and failed to present their identification documents. Above all, those of them dressed in council gadgets bore the Douala 5 council instead of the Douala 4 council. The choice to go physical with this agent stemmed from the repeated extortion and abuse suffered in the hands of these supposed council agents, we learned. The supposed council agents and friends who came for backup have been arrested and detained at the 15th Police District in the city of Douala while investigations are ongoing.
And now out of the country, let's now talk about a supposed religious leader in Kenya who forced his Christians to fast like Jesus Christ. The death toll has now risen to over 201 after the discovery of 22 new bodies on Saturday in a forest in southeastern Kenya. Police dug up more bodies of Christians involved in a sect whose leader forced them to fast to meet Jesus. Mala Glory has the details.
Police believe that most of the bodies discovered near the coastal town of Malindi are those followers of the sect of Paul Ntenge Mackenzie, a former cab driver, self-proclaimed pastor of the Good News International Church that he created.
We went there based on an information that there were some people who were cited by members of public having been starved somewhere and were just about to die. We rushed there and we were able to rescue about 15 people. And among the 15 people, 4 died as we were proceeding to hospital because the area is very vast and vehicles could not get to where they are. So as we were trying to get them to where the transport was, 4 succumbed. And the rest were taken to hospital, and 3 were in critical condition. Up to now, they're in critical condition.
The area prefect, Rhoda Onyancha, said 26 people have been arrested so far, including Paul Ntenge Mackenzie, a gang of fighters responsible for making sure no followers broke the fast or escaped from the forest. Paul Mackenzie had surrendered to the authorities on April 14 after the police discovered the first victims in the Sheikh Hole forest. About 50 mass graves have been discovered since then. Autopsies on the first bodies indicated that most of the victims died of starvation, most likely after following the preaching of Paul Ntenge Mackenzie.
So when I get to such a phone, I see someone. I told them they are going to see Jesus. So then I tracked a flight. It only booked a one-way ticket to Malindi, which she should have a return ticket back to Nairobi.
The massacres rekindled the debate over the regulation of religious worship in Kenya. a predominantly Christian country with over 4,000 churches according to official figures. President William Ruto has set up a task force to review the legal and regulatory framework governing religious organizations. Just like in other African countries, African leaders need to establish laws to limit the number of churches and to end such atrocities.
And now we talk sports. Andre Onana has become the first Cameroonian goalkeeper to qualify for the UEFA Champions League final. Andre Onana and Inter picked up their final ticket after defeating AC Milan on an aggregate of 3-0. In the report that comes up next, Smart Dikan Gabriel tells us that it hasn't been a very smooth season for Andre Onana.
Another milestone covered in the football career of Cameroonian-born goalkeeper Andre Onana. The goalkeeper, who is playing for Internazionale of Milan in Italy, on Tuesday became just the first Cameroonian-born goalkeeper to qualify to the finals of the UEFA Champions League, which is a personal record. Andre Onana keeps the record for the most clean sheets in the UEFA Champions League, as in 9 matches played, he has kept 8 clean sheets without conceding a goal. The performance of Andre Onana with Internazionale of Milan has kept many football fans speechless, knowing that he went through a very rough period that many would have given up. First, Andre Onana was suspended because of a wrong medication he took for 12 months. After an appeal, it was reduced to 9 months. Because of that, he made a move from Ajax of Amsterdam in Holland to Internazionale of Milan in Italy. This was happening at a time when Andre Onana was happy to have qualified for the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Unfortunately, his adventures in Qatar will end abruptly due to a disagreement with his coach, Rigobert Song Baanak. Andre Onana decided to resign from the national football team to concentrate on his club career. Today, with his courage, he will be playing the final of the UEFA Champions League come June 10, 2023 at the Atatürk Olympic Stadium in Istanbul, Turkey. Andre Onana is the 7th Cameroonian to appear at the UEFA Champions League final. Before him, Jeremy Soren Jitap with Real Madrid, Samuel Eto'o with Barcelona and Internazionale, Joel Matip with Liverpool, Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting with Paris Saint-Germain, Alexandre Song and Laurent Etame-Mayer, all of Arsenal, have played the final of the UEFA Champions League, with only Jeremy Soren Jitap, Samuel Eto'o and Joel Matip, the only 3 Cameroonian to have won the trophy. Should Andre Onana win on June 10, 2023 at the Atatürk Olympic Stadium in Istanbul, Turkey, then he will be the 4th Cameroonian to lift the Champions League trophy.
Still in sports, the playoffs to determine the champions of the Elite One League will be in March Day 2 tomorrow, ahead of the games programmed for the Douala Reunification Stadium. Pre-match press conferences held today with all 4 teams: Gazelle FC, Canon Sportif, Bambutus of Buda, and Cotton Sport of Garua, all present. For a recap of tomorrow's fixtures, Gazelle FC of Garua tackles Canon Sportif of Yaoundé, while the top match sees Bambutus of Buda tackling Cotton Sport of Garua. Now let's listen to Akoari Oru of Cotton Sport of Garua. He talks about their mindset ahead of the game of tomorrow.
So thank you very much with that question. You know, I'm here to help football. I'm here to save football. So what I mean that sometimes there's a lot of mistake. There's a lot of situation who a coach can be in front. So I'm here to work. That's all.
And now let's listen to the coach of Bamboo Tools of Mbuda. He is Yves Clement Aruga. Sure, we will be coming back to that except in our subsequent news editions. Viewers, we thank you so much for always being with us. Don't go away. As usual, our programs continue. The news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. and Equinoxe Soir in less than 30 minutes. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now.